Welcome to the Hive.
Oh, we're rolling?
We're rolling, bro.
I had to keep it up. I actually like when people do that. They're like, "Wait, we're rolling?
We're rolling?
Oh my
What?
gosh!"
So,
Anyway,
we have a guest today, Brian.
Right.
howdy,
He's
feller.
our office manager. He has been at Nature's Balance for 2 years.
2 years.
Hell yeah.
Well, just shy of 2 years.
Really?
And-
Only two?
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel like Brian's been a staple.
dude, he is a staple, man. He's
Well,
a
he
freaking
is.
killer.
That's right.
So, but yeah, Brian, he's been with us for 2 years. And then he's from Camas, Utah. And he's our office manager, man.
That's right.
Let Brian explain himself.
You're right. You're right. So let's get
All right,
into
Brian.
it.
Get in. What is something you did this weekend?
Yeah.
One thing.
One thing. Well, I've been getting into golf. I'm absolutely
the sim?
crap at it.
Oh, we don't go
No.
to the sim anymore, bro.
Been going to the courses.
Me and Brian been
Bro,
hitting
no invite.
courses.
Yeah.
You're invited,
All right.
every time.
I'm looking like prime Tiger out there.
Dude, with his
Tiger?
Titleist balls, man, he's just, bam, 300 yards.
300 yards.
Is it Titleist?
Titleist?
Yeah, that's a ball, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Titleist, titliest?
Titliest?
I would call it a titliest. Is it a titliest or a tightliest?
No, it's Titleist, bro. It's Titleist.
Okay,
Oh,
Titleist.
that's so funny.
I'm glad you corrected
way.
me before I went out to some guy.
Are you being for real?
Yeah, I thought it was titliest this whole time.
Brian! That's so awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, man. That's so good.
I actually think I thought that too when I first started golfing. I was like, Titleist?
Really? No, I straight
Why would
up
they name
read
it Titleist?
Titleist.
Titleist.
But, you know, I've been a golfer since I've been like 2.5 years
Yeah.
old.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Brian, tell us a little bit about like your timeline about like how long. Well, we know how long you've been because anyway, how long you been here? How you found the job? Like where you started, where you are now?
Yeah.
Like,
How did you find the job?
yeah, wasn't it Indeed?
It's really interesting, man, because when I saw the ad, it was actually on Facebook, and it was this crappy looking ad.
That I made.
Was it you that made
dude.
it?
Well, we got it from the drive, and I just like, we'll use that.
Yeah.
That's how you stick out.
Yeah.
Just make it look terrible.
But I don't know what intrigued me to send an email out, but I did. And then Spencer reached out the next day,
So
asked me
awesome.
an interview, and then he just went over the job. I mean, when I first applied, it was for the CSR position. Yeah. And
ESR?
Customer service representative.
yeah, on
I've
the
never worked
phones.
in an office.
He was our first ever hire that wasn't grandfathered in. I would say.
Nuh-uh.
In the office.
me.
In the office.
Oh, okay. I was like,
And
hello.
and it was really weird too, because like Spencer asked me to meet with you guys through lunch, and I just thought that was so weird, dude.
You
But-
did?
Yeah, because I don't feel like many companies do that, and so
Well,
we met over pizza
Summit.
over at Summit
We
Inn.
met over In and Out.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was like,
well,
oh,
I
these
heard
guys.
Dan used to do that. He
Yeah,
would
and
do-
that's why we did it, is
Yeah.
because Dan would take you to lunch and just interview at lunch. And like, you know, at the time, we didn't have like a great office space to really feel like we could interview in.
yeah,
And so I think going to lunch is like kind of a more professional setting than just a beat up shop, you know?
yeah. No, that makes sense. But when I met you guys, I felt like we instantly clicked.
Yes.
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 And yeah, dude, I mean, it's crazy to think how far we've came in 2 years, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, like if you look at your timeline, it's pretty wild to see you were a CSR and you jumped all the way up to office manager.
Yeah.
And dude, everybody can say it in the office, everybody can say it in the company. Everybody loves you in that position, dude. You are such a freaking baller.
Thank you, bro.
Amen.
I try to be.
Yeah. It's so good with you in there.
Yeah. No, it's been.
Besides when I chewed you out, loved you ever since.
Dude, that was fresh into me getting into that job.
How long were you
too.
even like working when that happened?
I swear that was like my second week.
Yeah, and like training back then too, it was not good training. It was like, well, learn how to adapt. We'll help you teach you on the way, you know?
Yeah.
And it was really learning on the job because we were so new as owners, and me and
shadow.
Spencer were
the fastest way to learn.
technicians, dude. And like, we didn't know how to train office.
Yeah.
And we trusted the previous office manager to do that, but she never really trained anybody either.
Yeah. I could kind of tell when I first came in, everything looked very raw.
It was so fresh.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is when we knew Ryan was the one. Was usually October is our heaviest month in the pest season. It is. No one ever looks forward to October because it's always like a 12-hour, 14-hour day for every single person. And Brian came into the office, manhandled it, dude. Manhandled it. Nothing got up to the top tier of like problems or anything like that. It was so awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, it was money.
This October, it was just me manning the phones, me learning how to do the routes, and just handling customer service.
Wait, this last October?
Yes. And like, it was crazy because,
You were doing all of that?
I was doing all of it for October.
Yeah.
It was a wild month.
yeah. And like,
It's crazy.
to give you background, you know, he was just a CSR before before office manager. And like, we didn't have a really big role in training for the office manager either. And we had to let go of the previous office manager. And I'm like, Brian, you're getting baptism by fire. I'm like, good luck. And he manhandled it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And like, every single service expert was like, dude, he's the one. He's the GOAT. And we're like, yeah, we know.
Yeah. I mean,
The
realistically,
office
like,
emperor.
I was doing it the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
So adapting was really just learning how to create the schedules. I think that was like my hardest challenge, but everything else was just,
Really?
yeah.
Dude, the schedule is a beast.
I've never even seen a glimpse of how it's done. So I can imagine it's probably pretty tricky.
Yeah. What do you feel about the schedule?
Now, I mean, it's super easy. But when I first got into it, you sat me down with who his name was Justin over at Sailor.
Yep.
Yep, and he just gave me a quick 10-minute tutorial on how to do it, and I remember just leaving even more clueless.
Like field routes?
Yeah, and Ivan and Spencer were like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, "Feel pretty good." But
all right.
I was like, "We're screwed." But no, dude, I just got into it, and I learned it, and I adapted, and honestly, like, I made things way more efficient with our scheduling.
Yeah.
I think that first month of October, we saw some of our highest profit margins.
Yeah, it was like I don't remember the margin, but
It was
it
pretty.
was
high.
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Like, I think that was the best margin we had in the last 2.5 years.
yeah,
So it was like everything that happened in that month was impeccable.
yep.
It was so pristine. And like the incentive for the service experts, all of it was just so good.
It was.
Oh, I loved that month.
So jumping back to your timeline, like here, like when you were working, when you started working, you know, you got your feet in the ground and you like are figuring stuff out. Where were you at before that, and why were you like looking for a job?
No, that's a great question. I mean, so I've always been very entrepreneurial.
I actually don't know this, so I'm more just curious.
So before I even met Spencer and Ivan, I actually had my own business. I still do. I don't put as much effort as I did, but I was heavy into e-commerce. And then the reason I took the job, honestly, was because first I was trying to get more experience on how to run a business, but I really don't know what intrigued me from it because I saw the ad and it just,
Clicked on it?
yeah.
Was it like a moment where you're like, should I click on this? Or you're just like,
I really don't know, man. Like, it just intrigued me. to do it.
It was time to be part of the team.
Yeah.
And then when you were, and then jumping to where you got kind of like started knowing what you're doing, and like a couple months in, maybe a few months into the summer after you started, like when did you realize that you were like wanting to be at Nature's Balance for longer than just like trying to learn how to businesses run?
Well, the culture here is really good. And I don't know, I felt like we all worked really well. I mean, it's not just like me being with Spencer and Ivan and Abe meeting them. Like every single person at the company, like I just felt like we all were really good friends. It never really felt like I was coming into work. Like it felt like I was coming into a place to hang out.
Yeah.
Like the culture has always been really good at Nature's Balance. I think that's one of the reasons I stayed. And on top of it, I think what is going on here is really special. And I think this is a really cool company with really cool branding. And it just named my attention from the very start.
Yeah. I remember that first summer at the end of it. The biggest quality that I love about you is that you're so innovative.
Yeah.
And you're always talking about, have you guys thought about this? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about getting into social media and things like that? And, you know, like we thought about it, but you really took the next step of really making our social media awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember getting texts all the time. Your Instagram is so awesome and it's so funny at points.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, that's Brian. He's freaking goated.
Some of our posts went viral too on the local
Yeah.
pages. It was
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Oh yeah,
on the just the Instagram page?
yeah,
Yeah, we would target local pages. So anywhere local, we would post ads. People would reach out with a lot of questions, and we would answer them. And I don't know, it was really cool.
yeah. He, like again, he's so innovative. It's brought so much great things here.
Yeah,
That like, man, me, Spencer, Abe, we're all so grateful for Brian
Yeah.
because he has the freaking brains on the back end.
Because coming from just being a service expert at the time when I was, like, I still don't really see any of that, and I didn't really see any of that. But, the time, minus the time that apparently I got mad at Brian, should we tell that story real quick so they know what we're talking about?
yeah. So I was 2 weeks into the job, and I was still trying to kind of understand the whole
Do you
software.
remember what month it was that you started?
In April, mid-April, I started.
So it was like mid-April, and I started at the beginning of April.
Yeah.
So I had been working for like 2 weeks, and then you joined the crew, and then beginning of May is when this apparently happened. So I want to hear it again. I know you told me this, but I kind of forgot the exact story.
It cracks me up that I remember that so much, dude.
Brian
But
remembers
Well,
it
you were
vividly.
brand new, dude. You
Yeah,
were brand new, and you were like, I just want to make everybody happy. You were probably like, what is Chance getting after me for? I'm new, bro.
yeah, and so our
I had
software,
that Voxer message, dude.
the routes are made, but they're not organized. So if you leave them how they are, it could be that the technician can go to one area and then bounce to a different area, and then they go back to the same area they're at. And I didn't
and it
know.
wasn't
Perspective,
organized.
the areas
Yeah.
are 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
It was my, like, from what I understood was that I wasn't supposed to organize the routes. Like,
Yeah.
I was just supposed to answer the phone calls and schedule the clients. And the office manager at the time, she left on vacation. I had no clue that we even had to organize routes. And so we used to have an app called Voxer. And so I remember Chance just Voxed me, and he was like, hey, man, I don't know what's going on, but my route today has been super wonky. Like, you kind of need to get your crap together, dude. And I was like, dude, like, I literally have no clue what I'm doing. Like, Like, I'll try, dude. Like, I'm sorry. And then I feel like Chance felt bad after that, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I get it, bro. Like, I had no clue you were by yourself. Like I get it, bro. No worries." But at that point, I was like, "All right, bro. Like, I need to turn it up a gear." And like after that point, like
second week.
I made it my priority for the rest to be organized.
Dude, like back then, the office and the service experts were enemies. There was no dialogue back then, and there was no like unity or clarity with one another. And like,
It was that bad?
well, dude, like back when we were working under the previous owner, dude, there was so many times where we were so heated with the office manager at that time. And like, I remember Abe calling me, "Dude, I can't believe she's making me do this again. This is so dumb," and things. And like, I noticed coming into this role, we really had to have unity with the office and the service experts. And so now it's like, I feel like there's so much more unity.
Oh yeah, I mean the way the office is managed now, it's just night and day. I mean, even versus how we were a few months ago, and how we're gonna approach this summer, it's crazy. Like,
What do you mean by that?
I mean, some of my goals is to make sure that our quality is as best as possible for our customers, because I want to make sure that they feel that the service they're receiving is the best quality they can get, because that's what we strive for, is for good quality service that's eco-friendly, kid and pet friendly,
Yes, sir.
but we want to be as efficient as possible. And I felt like that's one thing we were lacking in, was efficiency.
Yeah. And like, what I think too, back then too, was that there was a lot of passive aggression,
There was,
you know, from previous office staff
yeah.
towards the service experts. And that caused such bad camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know, people didn't trust it. They didn't trust the office. They felt like the office was out to get them. And, you know, I remember when I was in the operation seat, I always told them, like, the office is doing their best to provide an efficient route for you and also to make your day a good day.
Yeah.
And it was hard because there was previously employees that were passive aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, you are not like that at all. And man, it's made such a difference for the service experts.
And not just for the service experts. I mean, our customer satisfaction is super high. And yeah, like things are just running really smoothly. On top of it, like the office, as far as like notes and all of that, like we were just kind of scrambling. Everything was very disorganized. So that was one of my priorities coming in, is making sure that we are just super organized, because that equals out to efficiency. And my goal is for the service experts to have everything they need for their appointments, without needing, I don't know. So the thing is that our software was built in a way where for the last 10 years,
Field routes?
yes, field routes, it was just being used wrong.
Yeah.
There's been new features that's been
by
implemented. Yeah.
Us.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that was one of the first things I did, was pretty much just redo the foundation of what our field routes looked like. So just re-updating things, making sure the features that we're using are current, and just modernizing really like what is our CRM. And by doing that, not only have been more efficient, we've been able to have our customers more satisfied. Like, customers are no longer calling in, complaining over the same issues over and over. Like, things are being corrected on the spot.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, this is a prime example of the right person in the right seat.
Yeah.
You know, you are the right person for this role. And it is so awesome to see that, because ever since we started this company or bought the company, we had the wrong person in the seat.
Yeah.
And so it was never efficient. It was never to the quality that we wanted. And so, like, I'm here listening to you, and I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, we are so grateful that you are the right person for this.
Absolutely.
You get it, you want it, and you have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
And it has made such a difference
Yeah.
at Nature's Balance, dude.
Yep. It's just, it comes down that the way we were doing things was meant more towards, it just didn't allow us to scale. There's no way we could scale with what we were doing. And so I had to fix that. And it was hard at first because our systems and processes weren't really documented. I mean, it kind of surprises me how well we've been able to do.
Well, we've been bootstrapping it.
We were, and luckily we have some really good customers that understood us and such. But yeah, we had a scale, and we've done it in a really good way.
Yeah.
I'm really confident.
Could you pinpoint like how many things in how many different areas you had to kind of reinvent coming into
Yeah.
just a
Everything.
ballpark, like how many, like one, like say for example the field routes thing being one thing, you had to reorganize all that. How many of like those type things did you have to
Oh boy,
reorganize to what it is now?
it's crazy. It's kind of crazy to think about because I mean I was a CSR, and I hate you. I don't know how much I like the word CSR because I was doing a lot more. Like I was in charge of the billing, I was in charge of the routes, I was in charge of customer service, scheduling. But when I took over, I really just kind of realized like I don't like how any of this was being managed. And there's just a lot of things. Like for example, customers would always complain that they weren't seeing their reminders in time. So rather than just keep explaining to them and saying, hey, you got to check your spam folder, you got to, it's on you to look, I re-implemented different ways. And so a lot of customers now are just by default getting text reminders. And again, it just comes down to the features. Like we had a lot of customers that don't like being scheduled automatically. And so we were just placing a note on the account saying this customer needs advanced scheduling. But that doesn't allow you when you're sending out reminders to really be able to be efficient. But it's just a matter of pressing a button. And so the first thing we did was make sure all these customers that need advanced scheduling are in this setting, so then we can just create a report and then we can just contact them at the start of the month, and it's super easy.
It's sorry, I'm just like laughing because I know over the last couple years of doing this, of how painful it was to be kind of like in the position where I am, watching it happen and trying to get it figured out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's crazy to see how awesome it is now.
Yeah. Another thing is our billing. All of our processes weren't documented. It was just kind of free balling. And so that was the first thing I did, was pretty much built out from scratch the billing department.
Dang.
Yeah.
Again, freaking baller, dude.
So like, would you say all those being one examples, like 10 things you had to change, 20 things you had to change, 50 things you had to change?
I was flying the plane
You,
while
like,
building
remade?
it at the same time.
Yeah.
It was quite literally like
what?
that. I was building the plane. I was flying the plane while building the plane at the same time.
So it was everything.
Yeah, because there was no stopping. I mean, I came in October. It's our busiest month.
Yeah.
And things just, it was a mess. But right now, I mean, the billing department was fully built out. It's ready to be scaled out. One of the biggest things is that I created trigger rules. And if you don't know what trigger rules are,
Yeah, please explain. Some of the viewers might not know what that is.
It's simply what it is with billing. I mean, customers just kind of need to be reminded that they need to pay us. And before that, the only way we would do that is we would rely on a person to call them, text them, remind them. And it can be tedious,
Oh yeah,
That
I
is
remember
insanely
pushing
tedious.
so hard over the last year to the previous office manager, build the trigger rules,
Yeah.
and it never happened.
Yep. And
And
so,
like it took a special person to take on that role.
yeah.
And, dude, it was you, man. It was crazy.
And yeah, so we built those out. And I mean, right now, our AR is some of the lowest numbers we've seen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even the routing, there was no such thing really. How we were doing our schedules was essentially there's just a lot of ways that you can do the schedule. But the way that it was being done is how the previous owner did it, which was essentially you had a list and like, let's say it's 2,000 people for the month. And so the office manager was just manually picking and pulling each one. And that can be tedious.
For how long would that take? Like a week of scheduling all of it?
I think it took her
Longer.
50 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
Holy.
it's not efficient. But the
Yeah.
thing
That's
is
crazy.
that if you're not using the features given to you, you're gonna. I mean, I don't. And the thing is, a lot of companies still do that. It's called the manual job pool, but I pretty much just re-optimize things. So we're using intelligent routing. So we're using a little bit of AI to make routes more clustered together. It's a mix of using the intelligent routing and then manually clicking and dragging jobs. And I don't know, I got my little system down, but
It's like we got all the Infinity Stones and you were the last one.
yeah.
And now we are inevitable.
And it's like we went from
I don't think that's the quote.
He literally says,
Inevitable?
he's
Can
like,
we
I
fact check
am.
this?
I am inevitable.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be wrong so bad.
yeah. So our routes went from looking like $700, $800 per route. I mean, $700, $800 to $1,500 per route to clearing close to $4,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
While still maintaining a high
That's
customer
crazy.
satisfaction score.
Yes. Dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm
telling
asking
you,
all
it's
these
crazy.
specific questions is because you guys have said to me, and I know that you are appreciated and like everyone's grateful that you are here, but I have never seen any of that, and I have no idea about any of that. So
Yeah.
most people that will probably watch this don't either. So the reason I was asking is like to kind of get a grasp of everything you've done for one, and also just to see where that is coming from. Like,
Dude.
and I'm starting to understand now.
Yeah. No,
crazy,
like
man.
last summer before he was in this role, there was times in the schedule where we lost thousands and thousands of dollars because the schedule was misplaced with certain service experts. And like, it's hard to explain in a short amount of time, but you can lose like $30,000-$40,000 if you do it wrong. And that's what was happening.
Over the year?
No, in a month. And so like we were seeing this was happening, and we're like, me and Spencer were stressing so hard about this. And like he came in and he did exactly what was needed for the schedule.
And this is from scratch. There was
Yeah.
nothing for me.
Yes.
And it's there was literally nothing
Yeah.
to build on. So
When-
everything we have now is from me, like from my brain. They're all my systems, they're all my processes.
Where'd you
and
learn how to do all that?
I'm just a smart guy, dude. I mean,
He's goated.
okay, so one thing about me is I actually scored on my IQ test 126.
What?
So I'm like 4 or 5 points away from joining this thing called Mensa, which is like super geniuses. So my family thinks I'm really gifted, but I don't know, dude.
I think you're gifted, bro.
it just comes easy to me.
I think you're gifted.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome, man. We're like, it's so awesome that you're on
Dang.
the management
We got
team with us now.
Superman in the office, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, dude. It's just
Yeah, you watch back on this video, you're gonna see me just staring straight out and just thinking through everything he just said, because I'm thinking about all the problems that were going on, and then he is just like, he came in, boom, knocked out all the problems within like a couple weeks.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
really
so
night and
crazy.
day, man. And to name them all, it's just like really I reinvented everything. But I know all of us were stressed out.
Dude,
Yeah.
no,
And-
dude.
and
Brian stepped into the office one day and he's like, what would the hero in my story do
Yes.
And it's
right now?
He walked in and it was like freaking Iron Man showing up. I was like, there he is.
yeah, I remember telling you guys, I was
Dude.
like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll get it taken
Dude.
care of.
We should get a fog machine above the door, and every time
He walks
have
in.
a sensor on Brian's keychain, and every time he walks in, just
And it plays Iron Man by Black Sabbath in the background.
Yeah, dude. I just have such an ambition to make sure things are just as streamlined as possible. Like I just want to make sure things are running as streamlined as possible, and that just ends up with a positive experience for not only the people that work here, but also for our customers, because I truly care about our customers. Like it's crazy, but every single customer that calls in, I already have some sort of experience with them. I kind of, it's crazy, but like, yeah.
Dude, yeah.
one more thing on this, and then we can jump to the next thing. But I just wanted to say, my personality type, and we both experienced how it first was when I first started and you first started. And I mean, there was some things when I was a service expert where I'd go about my day. I'm like, well, why is this like this? Like, why is this like this? But I'm the type of person where I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll just deal with it. But it takes a certain type of personality to look at that and be like, why actually are we doing it like this?
Yeah.
Like, is there a way that we can do this better? And then actually executing it.
Yeah, it's breaking the system to see if we can make the system better.
Yeah. And I would personally, I mean, this is why I'm not obviously doing that kind of thing. Like, and I feel like a lot of people are not like this, in that way where you just like see that this is not working, and then you actually like teach yourself and just find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Just like with all this stuff you basically just explained.
That trait is one of the most valuable traits someone could have, is when they're innovative and they see something not working and they make it so much more efficient for not just them, but for the entire team.
Yeah.
Like that is such a valuable trait to have in a company. And like usually that is really hard to find. It really is. And when you find people with that, it's like, please be with us, you know, because it's so valuable. It's so valuable. And like, yeah, I love that trait in individuals. It's phenomenal. I think about like everything that we've done here, and just being a problem solver is so huge.
Yeah.
You know, finding solutions. That's literally why it's one of our core values.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not just on the office side, because like in the office, you're going to hear new problems all the time.
Yeah.
It's a new problem all the time, and you have to find a solution. It comes with pests too. There's millions and millions of different insects out there that when you're a service expert, you're going to see a new insect. You're going to see a new pest.
Dude, that actually happened all the time.
And that's why it's a core value with us.
There was probably 10 times throughout the summer when I was a service expert that I saw a bug or something and I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, dude. And like
I'm not just talking about like a spider, like some random like box elder bug, like crazy. Like there's this one time, it's called what was it called? I actually don't remember, but it was a crazy looking wasp. And I sent a picture to either you or you,
was
and
it
I'm
a
like,
mud dauber?
No. I know what a
Those
mud
are
dauber
pretty
is.
wild looking.
Yeah, they are.
Mud daubers are weird. No, this had like ginormous pincers or like
wow.
pinchers on its mouth, and it was all black. And
Bald hornet.
bull hornet?
I think it's a bald hornet.
No,
Bald-faced
no,
hornet.
not those. It was all black, no white. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. I was like, I sent
Yeah.
it to you. I don't think you knew what it was either.
No,
It was
like
an insane looking bug.
part of
I have a picture of it. I'll give it to you.
yeah, part of pest control. It's you're getting new problems and new insects all the time. There's invasive species coming from all over the place because people are getting them from shipping packages that are coming from other countries and stuff, and those species are coming through the shipments.
Which ones are those beetles that eat the pine trees? Big problem here.
The pine trees?
Huh?
Is it pine
I
beetles?
think they're called pine beetles. Outdoor. They're like in the woods. And they have huge nests at the top. I will find a picture of it.
Yeah. But
Not box elders, right?
no, it's not
No.
box elders.
No, they like eat the entire tree.
Oh wow.
It's a huge problem that like the
Termites.
government is
Is it a termite?
Oh,
It's crazy.
Or is
How,
it
yeah.
carpenter ant? Carpenter ant?
yeah. So many people confuse termites with carpenter ants up here. Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back on track. So let me ask you, what are the pros and cons of being the office manager? Start with the cons and let's go to the pros.
You have to be super adaptable because I mean, even then, like I feel like the office manager is such a broad term for what I do because I handle so many different departments. So I handle inbound sales, I handle customer service, day-to-day operations, all the logistics behind the computer, so the routes, the production values.
this is all the cons.
Attrition, making sure that we're not losing customers for, reasons that we can resolve. So it's just multiple departments. So you have to be very calm-headed, very almost like stoic, and because it does involve a lot of times switching your brain to different angles of handling different things, and I mean that could change in the future. But right now, like we're just kind of like it's not a new company, but under new ownership, we all kind of wear different hats.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, pros is
Besides the culture.
I mean, pros is like I really love talking to the customers. All of our customers are super nice people, super humble, genuine people, and they're all locals. I mean, everyone up in Midway and Park City and all of our property managers, like they're all super great to work with.
No, you're a freaking Iron Man again. And the reason why is because you're answering the calls when people have problems. You're
Yeah.
taking shots and the shots are just bouncing off of you, bro.
Yeah,
You're just like, oh, I'm going to face these and I'll take them all day long. And that I think that is the biggest con of being an office manager is you're dealing with a lot of emotions from customers at points. And that is so wearing.
yeah.
It can be painful, emotionally painful.
And it was wearing too because, again, we just didn't have any processes on how to correct these issues, but now we do.
Now we do.
So when complaints come through, we know what to do, and we have a step-by-step process on how we can help the customer, and that helps us out not be as stressed, and it also helps us resolve the customer's issue on the same phone call. Like that's our
Yeah.
goal now, is to resolve any type of issue on the same phone call.
So what's your favorite thing being an office manager? Like, what is your favorite thing?
It's funny, but I like seeing my ideas come to life. Like when
Creating.
I like creating, and when I see that they work, it makes me feel really good. I also like developing the people under me. I'm not a micromanager. I like teaching them, and I like leading them, and I like building them up. And I think that's just a more effective way of, being a leader. And another
You're made
thing,
to be a business owner, bro.
yeah, bro.
Because that's like everything a business owner loves.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling. and it gives you so much purpose.
Yeah.
It's like creation, development, all of it. It's like it's so fulfilling.
And that's what's fun too about being part of the leadership team, which granted might not be, it's two different things, but being in that team and making day-to-day decisions for the company, it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you love about Nature's Balance then? Like, what do you love about it? You said the culture. What other things do you love?
Everyone here. I love every single person here, from the technicians to the people that work in this office to both of you. Like, honestly, like when I come in here, I don't dread coming to work. Like, I see all of you as my friends. And
Even when you come in at like 7 a.m.?
even when I come in at 7 a.m.
And stay here till
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we just have such a great culture here that it makes working here super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about this all the time in the podcast. Like, culture is so important here because that's what makes people enjoy work,
Yeah.
is having good culture. And it has to have good camaraderie. It has to have good unity and great ownership. Like, you have to own your mistakes, but also your wins.
Yeah.
And when we do that here as a team, man, dude, it's so powerful.
Absolutely.
It's so powerful here. And like, it makes a great dialogue when there is problems because we can be straight up with each other.
Yep.
Like, think about those L10s. Me and you have got into it with each other a couple times. I'm like, what are you talking about, Brian? And then you're like, what are you talking about, Ivan?
But the beautiful thing about it is after we're done, there's no bad grudges. Like, it's a
healthy
positive
conflict.
It is healthy conflict. It's super positive, and I don't think there's ever been one single time where I'm like, screw this guy or screw this company. No, not at all. It's, it's really such a great culture here.
Yeah, I'm all about it. What about you, Chance?
I was debating whether or not for about the last 30 seconds whether or not I was going to make a joke.
You should have.
It's too late now.
Yeah.
It's just too late. Wouldn't hit. I was going to ask, though, so you were talking about like being on the phones and like answering calls and talking with customers. Before, when you first started compared to what it is now, was there like because did you build like how to navigate a phone call too while you're here?
Yeah, that was one of the things too. I mean,
I feel like people don't really think about that.
No, I mean, previously what we were doing was just doing things blindly. If a customer had questions about something being serviced, we just didn't have the answer. So what would happen is that we would tell the customer, hold on, let me reach out to the specialist, and then we'll give you a call back. So then we would have to wait for the specialist to respond back. That stops them from doing their routes, again, efficiency. And then we would try to get a hold of the customer. That may lead up to other questions, and then we would have to go back to the specialist. And it just ended up, multiple phone calls, and, the phones don't stop ringing. So now we've implemented a better way where things are better documented, and everything's there for the CSRs to answer. So if a customer has questions, we can just simply pull up the information. As simple as that, just making sure specialists documented any type of relevant information that we need so that we can answer the questions right there and then. And so, it avoids these back and forth phone calls to answering a phone call in a couple of minutes, and customers are even more happier because, everything got resolved on the same phone call.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's wild to see the transition that has happened over the last 2.5 years with everything.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the previous owner, dude, he kicked butt.
He did.
At everything. Like, I still idolize how strong of a man he was.
Absolutely.
Because, we developed all these roles, over the last 2 years. He was doing all by himself.
He was.
And like, you look at what you're doing, you look at what I'm doing, you look at what Spencer's doing, what Abe's doing, and everybody else too. And you think about how he got to that point. It's pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we still hold those values. And don't get me wrong, like a lot of the good things that the previous owner did, we're still doing. And a lot of the things that the previous office manager was doing, I still made sure to keep those implemented.
Yeah.
So it's just building.
Well, yeah, we will always keep the core of what Nature's Balance was developed as.
Absolutely.
Because that core is good quality service, good customer service, and a local presence, and just super efficient with our routes.
Yeah.
You know?
Overall, it's just we just offer a super high quality product.
Yeah. I don't know other companies that use the mix we have, you know. I really don't. I meet with a lot of other pest control owners, and I ask them about the products and stuff. They don't use the product that we use.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome. Yeah, they don't, because one, it's expensive. Two, you know, yeah, like that's the number one thing actually, is it's really just expensive, but we want to give that product to our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if a company tried to replicate us, they wouldn't be able to, because the quality we offer with everything else that comes with our service can't be duplicated.
It can't.
What's the product called?
I ain't telling you, bro. I made it. You know, I developed it in my house. No. So like with all of this, you know, we talked about your transition and how you developed in this role. What is the biggest thing that drives you in life, dude? Because like, you have drive, you have ambition, you have passion. You know, what is it that does that for you on a personal level?
I don't know, man. I mean, I just wake up every morning with this drive to
Just got the dog in you,
yeah,
bro.
just to freaking succeed.
Just got the dog in you.
Exactly. Like I wake up every morning just ready to freaking hit it running, man, and just do what needs to be done.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful thing that you do it. And like, you know, developing, like, it took me to develop a drive and ambition for something.
Yeah.
Because before this company, I never had drive for other companies.
Yeah.
It had to be buying a business and buying into a business to really drive my passion, because honestly, my biggest passion is people. I love having good relationships. I love watching people progress. I love seeing all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And you get to do that in business when you realize that.
Yeah.
You know? You really look in it and you really develop people. You develop a business, and its creation, it's so fulfilling.
It is, yeah. And this company's going to go pretty big.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's going to go huge.
It is.
Especially with the team that we have here.
Especially with Iron Man.
Yeah, especially with Iron Man, you know.
Got an advantage.
Bro, I'm like freaking Ant-Man. Ant-Man's not that cool.
If I still had long hair, I could maybe be Aquaman.
I'm dead. But yeah, no, dude, we love what you do here, man. You know, This is Brian, guys, office manager.
That's right.
Got a blast. We're done.